Ladies and gentlemen, what if I told you the very shadows you've been running from hold the key to your greatest strength? That the pain you've buried, the failures you've hidden, the fears you've denied, are not your weaknesses, but your secret weapons. This is not about escaping the dark, it's about mastering it. Because inside that darkness lives a kind of intelligence so sharp, so unstoppable, that once you unlock it, nothing, and no one, can ever break you again. When people hear the word dark, they immediately think of something negative, something to run away from, something to suppress. But what if I told you that the darkness within you, the struggles, the fears, the wounds, the insecurities, isn't meant to be hidden? What if that very darkness is intelligence in disguise, a resource, a guide, a strength you've yet to master? Because inside the shadows of who you are lives the raw, unfiltered data of your life. The question is, will you use it, or will you let it use you? You've been taught to shine only in the light, to show the world your polished moments, your wins, your smiles. But you weren't shaped in the light. You were forged in fire. In the moments you thought you couldn't continue but did anyway, you were shaped by rejection, by heartbreak, by failure, by betrayal. That pain you carry is not a weakness. It's coded information, it's dark intelligence. And when you learn to interpret it, it becomes a compass pointing to your strength. Think about the moments in your life when you grew the most. It wasn't when things were easy, when people applauded you, when opportunities just flowed. It was when you were underestimated, when someone said you weren't good enough, when doors slammed in your face, when your heart cracked open. That pain carved wisdom into your character. That wisdom is your dark intelligence, and it is sharper than anything you can learn from success. Most people run from discomfort. They numb it, they hide it, they deny it. They let fear dictate their choices. But the ones who rise are those who look directly into the darkness and say, "Teach me." They don't avoid their past, they study it. They don't bury their pain, they mine it for power. They don't silence their inner critic, they reprogram it into a mentor. That's how dark intelligence works. It transforms what could destroy you into what defines you. There's a reason ancient warriors trained not only in skill, but in suffering. Because suffering exposes your limits, and only when you see your limits can you move beyond them. Your dark intelligence is the memory of every limit you've broken. It's the story you tell yourself when you hit the next wall. I have been here before and I did not break. You carry evidence that you are stronger than you know. But if you never lean into your darkness, you never activate it. Let's get real, you faced moments where you questioned everything. Maybe you lost someone you love. Maybe you failed at something you thought defined you. Maybe you looked in the mirror and hated the person staring back. In those moments, you met the darkest parts of yourself: fear, shame, anger, loneliness. Most people would rather escape. But if you're here, listening, it's because deep down you sense that those parts of you are not enemies. They are teachers. Fear, for example, isn't there to paralyze you. It's data. It tells you what matters to you, where your edge is, what you need to face. Anger isn't just rage, it's a signal that something you value has been crossed. Shame isn't just heaviness, it's a reminder to realign with your truth. Every dark emotion carries intelligence if you choose to decode it. But if you ignore it, it becomes poison. The choice is yours: will you suppress or will you alchemize? Your dark intelligence also lies in your failures. Every time you failed, you learned something no book, no mentor, no seminar could teach. Failure teaches you resilience, adaptability, humility. It humbles the ego while strengthening the spirit. It teaches you that you can fall and rise again and again. When you hold on to those lessons, they become part of your inner arsenal. That arsenal is your unseen weapon, the one that no one can take from you, because it was earned through your scars. Think about the moments when someone doubted you. When they said you weren't enough. How did you feel? Maybe hurt, maybe angry. But beneath that, there was a spark. That spark is proof of your desire to rise, to show yourself and the world who you really are. That spark is dark intelligence. It is born from opposition, from resistance, from being told no, no. And if you channel it, it becomes an unstoppable drive that propels you past every obstacle. The truth is, your darkness is not a curse. It's an initiation. It forces you to confront who you are, Not the polished version you show the world, but the raw, unmasked you. It forces you to ask, who am I when no one believes in me? Who am I when everything falls apart? Who am I when there's no applause, no validation, no external reward? The answer to those questions is your core. That core, strengthened by dark intelligence, is unshakable. We live in a world that worships positivity, but positivity without depth is fragile. It crumbles the moment life hits hard. Depth comes from the shadows. Confidence comes not from pretending everything is fine, but from knowing you can face what isn't. Resilience comes from being broken and learning you can rebuild. And courage comes from standing in the dark long enough to find your own light. That is what dark intelligence gives you, not blind optimism, but unbreakable truth. So when you feel fear, lean in. When you feel pain, listen. When you feel anger, ask what it's protecting. When you fail, extract the lesson. When you're doubted, ignite your fire. Stop running from the shadows within you. Stop wishing away your scars. They are not flaws. They are proof of your survival. Proof of your evolution. Proof that you already carry everything you need to move forward. Dark intelligence is not about glorifying pain. It's about recognizing that pain was never the enemy. It was the process, it was the forging fire. And if you let it, it will guide you, protect you, and remind you of who you are when the world forgets. Every setback, every heartbreak, every failure, every scar, that's your coded wisdom. That's your edge. That's your unshakable strength. Dark intelligence is not just about surviving difficulty, it's about learning how to command it, how to stand in the storm, and not only withstand it, but move with it. Too many people think resilience is about simply taking hits and staying upright. But resilience without awareness is only half the battle. Dark intelligence teaches you to study the hit, to understand its angle, its weight, its intent. And then, instead of merely surviving, you adapt, you anticipate, you evolve. That's what separates those who endure from those who transcend. Think of it like a battlefield. Life throws arrows at you. Loss, rejection, betrayal, fear. If all you do is hide behind a shield, yes, you'll survive a while. But eventually you'll tire. The real warrior studies the arrows. They learn where they come from, how they fly, what they're made of. Then they don't just shield. They catch, they repurpose. They turn the very weapons aimed at them into their own arsenal. That is what your dark intelligence allows you to do. It transforms attacks into training. It transforms enemies into teachers. It transforms wounds into armor. And you know what? Most people will never activate this. They will spend their whole lives chasing the light, hiding from the shadows, believing that success and strength live only in the shiny, polished places. They'll put on masks, curate lives for others' approval, try desperately to avoid pain. But the avoidance of pain is the avoidance of growth. If you protect yourself too much from discomfort, you protect yourself from transformation. Darkness isn't the obstacle. It's the passage. The ones who embrace that passage are the ones who lead, who create, who inspire. Your scars, your memories, your failures, they are not mistakes in your story. They are the curriculum. You have been in training all along. Every heartbreak taught you how to love deeper, or how to value yourself more. Every betrayal taught you discernment. Every failure taught you innovation. Every rejection taught you persistence. And every fear you've ever faced taught you courage. You didn't learn these things from comfort. You learned them in the shadows, often when no one was watching, when you thought no one would understand. That's what makes this intelligence so powerful. It's earned in silence. Dark intelligence is also about self-mastery. Because let's be honest, your greatest battles are not with the world, they are with yourself. The doubts in your mind, the voices that tell you you're not enough, the patterns you keep repeating, the habits that keep you stuck. You can conquer nations, build empires, win awards. But if you haven't conquered your own inner shadows, you're still a prisoner. Facing your darkness means facing your fears, your ego, your insecurities, your impulses. And when you can stand face to face with them and not flinch, you reclaim power over yourself. That's freedom. Look at the people you admire most. The ones who stand tall, who speak with conviction, who move through life unshaken. They are not without pain. They have simply wrestled with theirs until it became strength. They know what it's like to be broken, and because of that, they no longer fear breaking. That's why they can take risks others avoid. That's why they can lead when others shrink back. That's why they can step into the unknown with steady hearts. Their confidence is not borrowed from external validation, it's rooted in the trials they've survived. That's dark intelligence in motion. And here's the thing, darkness is inevitable. Pain is inevitable. You can't escape it. You can't negotiate your way out of life's challenges. But you can decide what they will mean to you. You can let them harden you into bitterness, or you can let them carve you into resilience. You can let them break your spirit, or you can let them build your backbone. The same fire that burns also forges. The same weight that crushes also strengthens. What matters is not the circumstance, it's what you do with it. Dark intelligence doesn't ask you to love the pain. It asks you to respect it, to acknowledge that it shaped you, that it gave you wisdom no textbook ever could. It asks you to stop pretending your life must look perfect to be powerful. The cracks, the shadows, the scars, that's where the real beauty lies. They are reminders of your capacity to overcome, to adapt, to continue. And when you stand in front of others, carrying those invisible lessons, people feel it. They may not know your story, but they sense the weight of it. They sense your depth, and that depth is what draws them in, what makes your presence undeniable. Think of the times when you were at your lowest, when you thought it was over. You are here today, which means you carried yourself through, that resilience, that unseen strength. It didn't disappear. It's still inside you. Dark intelligence is not something you lost once the moment passed. It's a permanent upgrade. It lives in your cells, in your muscle memory, in your spirit. The next time you face a challenge, that intelligence rises to the surface, reminding you, I've been through worse. I can handle this. And that knowledge is priceless. When you choose to embrace your dark intelligence, you stop fearing failure. You stop fearing rejection. You stop fearing other people's opinions. Because you understand that every difficulty is just more data, more training, more wisdom. You stop needing the world to be easy for you, because you've proven you can be powerful in the hard. That's when you become unstoppable. Not because life spares you, but because life cannot break you. This is the gift hidden in the dark, the realization that you don't need to run from your pain. You don't need to erase your past. You don't need to deny your flaws. You need to study them, learn from them, honor them. And once you do, the darkness becomes your ally. It guides you, strengthens you, and sharpens you. You stop being afraid of the shadows, because you understand now, they are not there to consume you. They are there to reveal you. And when you understand that the shadows reveal you, you stop apologizing for your journey. You stop trying to fit into molds created by other people. You stop editing yourself for approval. Because you realize your power was never in pretending to be flawless. It was in embracing the truth of who you are, unfiltered, unpolished, unmasked. That truth carries an energy stronger than any performance ever could. People don't connect to perfection, they connect to authenticity. And authenticity often comes with scars. Your dark intelligence is also your intuition. The quiet voice that speaks in the silence between the chaos. You know it well. It's the feeling in your gut when something doesn't align. It's the whisper that tells you to walk away, even when your mind tries to rationalize staying. It's the surge of courage that pushes you to take a leap when everything logical tells you not to. That intuition was trained by your shadows. Every mistake you've made sharpened it. Every betrayal tuned it. Every hardship carved it. And now, when you listen, it guides you with a clarity brighter than any spotlight. The danger is when you ignore it. When you silence that voice, because it doesn't fit the expectations others have for you. That's when you stumble into patterns that don't serve you. But when you honor it, when you lean into it, you move through the world differently. You walk with certainty, not because the path is easy, but because you trust yourself to handle whatever comes. That is one of the greatest gifts your dark intelligence gives you, unshakable self-trust. Think about it. How many times did you doubt yourself, only to later realize you already knew the truth? How many times did you ignore your gut and pay the price? And how many times did you listen, and that decision saved you from something that would have drained your spirit? That's not luck. That's not coincidence. That's your intelligence speaking through the very shadows you once tried to silence. The world teaches you to chase after answers outside yourself. books, mentors, experts' approval. And yes, wisdom exists there too. But the deepest wisdom often comes from looking within, from facing your own history, your own choices, your own experiences. It comes from being willing to sit in the dark long enough to hear your own voice. And when you do, you realize you've been carrying everything you needed all along. Dark intelligence also sharpens your ability to see others. When you've wrestled with your own shadows, you develop compassion for the shadows of others. You stop judging so quickly, because you know what it feels like to stumble. You stop dismissing people for their flaws, because you understand flaws are just evidence of a battle being fought. You become less naive because you've learned how to read energy, tone, patterns, the subtle signs that reveal truth beneath appearances. Pain teaches you perception. And perception gives you a power most people never develop. This doesn't mean you become cynical. It means you become discerning. You learn to protect your energy, to recognize who is safe to let close and who is not. You no longer confuse charm for character, or promises for proof. That discernment was carved into you by experience, by disappointment, by lessons learned the hard way. And though it may have hurt at the time, it has made you wiser, sharper, more equipped to move through the world with clarity. But let's go deeper. Dark intelligence is also about creativity. The greatest art, the greatest breakthroughs, the greatest ideas often come from the shadows. When everything falls apart, when your old identity no longer fits, when you're standing in the rubble, that is when creation is born. Desperation births innovation. Pain pushes you to think differently. Limitations force you to find new ways. Some of the most powerful transformations in history began in the dark, because the dark forces you to reinvent, to reimagine, to rebuild. And that's the part most people miss. Darkness is not the end of the story. It's the laboratory. It's the place where reinvention happens. When you've been stripped bare of everything you thought defined you, you finally see who you are without the masks. That's where new vision rises. That's where creativity flows unrestricted. That's where the impossible suddenly becomes possible, because you no longer have anything left to lose. Your dark intelligence thrives when you stop asking, "Why me?" and start asking, "What is this here to teach me?" That one shift changes everything. Because life will keep sending challenges. If you see them as punishment, you'll stay bitter. If you see them as preparation, you'll stay powerful. Every challenge then becomes an initiation, every setback a lesson, every wound a doorway. And instead of running from the dark, you begin to walk into it willingly, knowing it always leads to growth. Remember this: you were never meant to live only in the light. Light without shadow is flat. Light without shadow has no depth, no dimension. Your depth, your dimension, your substance, that comes from the balance of both. The shadows shape the contours of your character. They make you relatable. They make you real. They make you magnetic. People don't follow perfection, they follow truth. And truth is carved in both light and shadow. So embrace it all. The moments you're proud of and the ones you hope no one ever sees. The victories and the heartbreaks. The confidence and the doubt. It all belongs. It all has something to teach you. The pieces you've tried to bury may just be the very pieces that hold your greatest strength. Stop hiding from yourself. Stop apologizing for your past. Stop fearing the shadows that shaped you. Everything you've been through has been a masterclass. And you've already passed the test. You're still here. And being here is proof that you are not fragile. Proof that you've already endured storms that could have broken you. Proof that resilience is not something you're chasing. It's something you already embody. Every breath you take is a declaration that nothing has defeated you completely. Even when you thought you were shattered, there was always a piece of you that refused to give up. That piece is your core. That piece is your unyielding strength. And every time you honor it, every time you choose to rise again, your dark intelligence grows sharper, stronger, more unshakable. You see, most people mistake survival for living. They think getting through the day is enough. But survival is only the first layer. Your dark intelligence doesn't want you to just survive. It wants you to thrive. It wants you to take what you've learned from the shadows and use it to create a life of depth, of meaning, of impact. Because what's the point of all you've endured if it doesn't awaken something greater inside of you? What's the point of your scars if they don't become the map that guides you forward? Your story is not random. The struggles you've faced are not meaningless. They were assignments. Each one carried a lesson meant to shape you into the person you're becoming. And sometimes the lessons were brutal. Sometimes they tore pieces of you away. Sometimes they left you questioning your worth, your future, even your will to continue. But what you didn't realize in those moments was that those lessons were chiseling you, refining you, stripping away what was not essential so the essence of who you truly are could emerge. That essence is your greatest weapon. There's a reason diamonds are forged under pressure. There's a reason steel is hardened in fire. And there's a reason your character, your wisdom, your presence have been forged through pain. Without that pressure, without that fire, you would remain unshaped, untested, unrefined. But because of it, you carry a strength most will never understand. That strength is not loud. It doesn't need to announce itself. It radiates quietly in the way you walk, the way you stand, the way you look at the world. People feel it before you even speak. Your dark intelligence has another gift: perspective. The shadows you've walked through have widened your view. They've taught you to see beyond the surface, beyond appearances, beyond temporary discomfort. You know now that hard times don't last forever, but they do leave permanent lessons. You know that endings are often beginnings disguised. You know that loss clears the space for growth, even if it doesn't feel that way at first. And because you've seen the worst and survived, you carry a perspective others lack the ability to trust, that even in chaos, life has rhythm. Even in darkness, there's purpose. And when you hold that perspective, you become a light for others, not the blinding artificial light of pretending everything is fine, but the steady flame of someone who has been through the fire and emerged whole. People are drawn to that flame because it tells them they too can endure, they too can rise, they too can find meaning in their own shadows. That's the hidden responsibility of your dark intelligence. It's not just for you. It's also for the people whose paths you will cross, the ones who need to see in you the proof of what's possible for them. But make no mistake, this intelligence is not passive. It requires you to engage with it. To stop numbing, stop running, stop pretending. To sit with your shadows, ask questions, demand answers. What did this pain come to teach me? What strength did this trial unlock? What truth did this failure reveal? And then to act on what you discover. Because knowledge unused is wasted. Dark intelligence is not just about awareness. It's about application. It's about taking the raw material of your struggle and forging it into action, into choices, into transformation. Think about the moments when you hesitated, when fear told you to hold back. Remember how heavy that felt. Fear's weight is suffocating when you don't move, but the moment you take action, the weight lifts. That's because action is the language of transformation. Action is how you prove to yourself that fear does not control you. And every time you act despite the fear, every time you choose courage over comfort, your dark intelligence deepens. It etches itself into your being, reminding you that you are not defined by hesitation, but by what you do in the face of it. The truth is, the shadows will always return in some form. New challenges, new losses, new fears. Life is not meant to be free of them. Life is meant to be lived through them. And each new shadow brings with it an opportunity to evolve further, to expand beyond who you were yesterday. You are not here to stay the same. You are here to grow. You are here to transform. You are here to embody the strength that only comes from walking boldly into the unknown and trusting that you will find your way. And here's what's extraordinary. The more you practice this, the less you fear the dark. What once terrified you becomes familiar terrain. What once felt unbearable becomes another challenge you know you can face. You begin to welcome the lessons, not because they're easy, but because you trust yourself enough to know you'll rise stronger every time. That trust is freedom. That trust is power. That trust is the essence of dark intelligence. So let the shadows come. Let them test you, let them shape you, let them teach you. You no longer need to resist them. Because you've seen what they create inside you. You've seen how they transform weakness into strength, doubt into clarity, fear into fuel. The shadows are not there to break you. They are there to build you. And you are proof of that truth every time you rise again.